mane kwara jaduong' Ooro Kaulo ogoe tao, noweyo chien nyikwayo maloyo 300. Ne en jadoho kendo ne en ja 200. Dala maduong' ne ni Waringa, to dala matin ne ni Ndori.
My names are James Apollo Aulo Ooro, son of the elder son to Joel Zadok Ooro Aulo. And actually at Namasagali is where I was born, in Namasagali. And I also I got my names from our father's boss and the president of Uganda when Uganda got independence. That was Milton Obote. No, Milton Obote, the full names are Milton Apollo Obote. So my name of Apollo, I got from Milton Obote, our grandfather. The respected man, a great man, because he was a disciplinarian. He was very harsh, never liked nonsense. And he is one old man who never believed in cultural practices that would spoil people's vision for development, education, coming up and starting your own, like employing yourself. You would have loved somebody to employ him or herself and do your things independently. So he never liked any Luo customary law that would disturb your settings. If you set to do something, you must do it. Actually, he's one person who would love to use force positively. I remember once when I was being told our first road that from Gubei down to Kanyagaya, which is Wangarot, past our home, our gate, goes through Kapuoyo, Nyagoko, up to Anyongi. He literally forced the chief to force all men to come out and dig the road by hand. And he forced people. People were complaining and saying that because he was the only person who had a vehicle. He had a lorry, he had a bus. He was the only person who had a vehicle to use that road. So people used to say that he's forcing people to make road for his vehicles. Then, as men were digging, women were carrying maram to bring to the digging site so that the road is done to a all-weather road. So immediately people finished the project, they started seeing a lot of buses and other vehicles coming, passing, using the road. And now people were able to even move from home in Asembo, go to Kisumu to do some business or for some work they wanted to do and come back. So they started saying, this old man Kumbe had a vision. He was seeing things very far. He had a wider vision than what people thought. So he used to believe in positive force, using force positively. He used to be even violent. Times he would even beat up people. Like when a vehicle is coming and he sees somebody with a head of cattle walking on the road, blocking the road, he would come and stop the vehicle and come out with a stick and hit these people very hard. So people knew that if a vehicle is coming, you have to remove your animals from the road. The road is meant for vehicles, not for animals. So that setup made him to be very popular. And he was one guy who would come and even force people to go to school. You must go to school. You like it or you don't. Then later people realized going to school was very good. Then even when he came up and became now a Christian, joining the Nomia Church. At the beginning it was called Nomia Luo Church because the founder of Nomia Church was a Luo, did not know any other language apart from Luo. So he even went to a publisher who even printed a Bible in the name of Nomia, so it was called a Nomia prayer book with all the practices of Nomia. So he joined the church when the founder of Nomia was still alive, and he also changed a lot of things in the church. So the denomination started respecting him because he would force things to happen. And that was the belief of Joel Zadok or Aulo. Now, our father was his first, the eldest son, John Wilson Ooro. They were trained in the same setup, strict and violent style of family. So he also grew up, went to school well because of our grandfather, went to school well, and then after finishing his Form 4 at Maranda High School, he went to Maseno Government Training Institute. And at Maseno, in the training center, he came to meet Jaramogi Oginga Odinga as a tutor. That was still the colonial time. So as a tutor, Jaramogi started loving him because Jaramogi, coming back to our cultures, was a cousin to our grandfather. That is, their mothers came from the same place. So their mothers were cousins. So Jaramogi and our grandfather also were cousins. So he said he was going to stay with our father in his house. So our father started also learning some new things through Jaramogi. Then he trained as a carpenter and an expert in joinery. So he did a lot of woodwork. Then, after finishing his training, he joined railways. During that time, it was called East African Railways and Harbors. As a foreman, carpenter, and the head of workshop, wood workshop, he did a lot of nice things. Then he even was transferred to Uganda to go and work in Uganda. So he settled at a place called Namasagali in Uganda. And actually at Namasagali is where I was born, in Namasagali.